Hi everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to be showing you an upper body workout that you can do with a variety of equipment. If you don't have these particular pieces of equipment, feel free to use whatever you have in your home. Get creative. If you don't have a pair of 3-pound weights or a lighter pair of weights, feel free to use soup cans or anything lying around that might work just as well. Joining me today are Brooke and Janie. And they will be showing different modifications of the exercises. I will be in the chair the entire time. So if you are in a wheelchair or you need to stay seated for any reason, feel free to just follow me. And Brooke will be demonstrating all the standing and the floor modifications. And Janie will be doing a variety of different ones. So, feel free to jump between frames and follow me for one, follow Janie for another, follow Brooke for another, depending on what your fitness level is today. So let's go ahead and get started with a warm-up. So I'm just going to have you start with a march. Just a nice basic march. And again, remember, if you need to be by a wall or by a chair, by a table, to make sure that you've got that extra support. If you feel a little unstable, then feel free to stand close to something that you trust won't tip over. All right. Good. So now I want you to kick it out. And we're not going very high. We're still warming up. I want you to reach across towards the opposite toes. Okay. So right hand goes towards left foot. Left hand goes towards right foot. And we're just trying to warm up the body. Give it a little bit of a torso rotation, engaging that core. Doing great. Good. Now we're going to go ahead and go back to that basic march in the center. Feel free to turn on some music in the background if you find that you like to move to the music. And now let's go ahead and just march out and in. So out, out, in. You can speed it up if you like. Moving those arms, because that's going to be really important today for our upper body workout. Great. Getting ready to switch our leads. So here we go. We'll do a few marches in the center, and then we're going to switch leads. Here we go. Out, out, in. Nice job. Have fun with it and smile. Makes everything better. All right. Now we're going to go into a modified jumping jack. So I'm going to show this seated. We're going to step out. The arms are going to go up. Nice job. So Brooke's doing the high intensity. If you want to go low intensity, she'll also show that standing alternating sides. Janie's doing the one side behind the chair, always supporting herself. Doing great. Good. Now we're going to change up the arms and we're going to go up and down just like this to the front. And you don't have to take your palms and face them forward, especially if your shoulder doesn't like that. I want you to adjust your position so that your shoulders are happy. So I've got my palms facing in towards each other. As I start to warm up, maybe my palms face forward. Looks good. All right, now we're going to go into seal jack arms. So we're going out to the side and then front. Good. And I'm in the turn. I'm continuing to move my lower body, tapping out to the side. Janie's doing the one side, always stabilizing in the center. And Brooke, still doing the one side, but without the chair. So if your arms are getting tired, I want you to just continue to do the stepping out. Good, good. Now, let's go ahead and stand with our feet hip width apart, and I want you to just march one knee up and punch up towards the ceiling with the opposite arm. So this is more of a range of motion. It's not a rushed movement. Try to stabilize. You're doing great. Take your time with this. No need to rush. This is also great because we're waking up our core muscles. You know, we're stabilizing, trying to keep our balance. Awesome. All right, last one on each side. Good. All right, now let's just go ahead and go into some wrist circles. And I've got my elbows at my sides, whatever you need to do. You can even rest your arms, your forearms on the arm of a chair if you like. Let's reverse directions and feel free to continue marching. In fact, that's probably a good idea. Good job, Brooke. All right, good. Now let's go ahead and give ourselves a big hug and release. Big hug and release. Janie was probably marching too, but I didn't see her.
I was.
Good job, Janie.
Thank you.
When not doing it.
I appreciate the love.
All right, so now we're gonna push. As we march, we're gonna push out. Engaging that core. Don't forget, you'll hear me say it a lot. Good, now we'll tap it across, or tap it out and reach across. Good. The goal of the warm-up is to get the heart rate up and to get the joints lubricated. As our joints warm up, that synovial fluid gets thicker, and that's a protection so that we don't hurt ourselves, so we minimize the risk of injury. Good. One more time on each side. Excellent. Now we're going to do some big shoulder rolls. Nice big shoulder rolls back. Make sure the head is in neutral. If you find that you're one of those people where your head comes forward, feel free to, readjust and then continue on with the movement that we're doing. Good. And again, we'll give ourselves a nice big hug. And then release. Nice big hug. Opposite arm on top. Don't forget to switch them. Excellent. All right, shake it out. Good. So we're ready to begin with our first exercise. And we're going to be doing the same order of muscle groups. So we'll start with biceps, then we'll go to triceps, then we'll go to shoulders, then back and chest. But we'll be using our free weights primarily for the first set of exercises. So if you've got a pair of free weights, like I said, go ahead and grab them. We're going to start with biceps, so you might go a little heavier, or you might want to start lighter. And I'm going to start a little bit heavier today. I've got 5-pound weights. And we're just going to do a basic bicep curl. So from the seated position, and I'm going to take my time, and I'm just going to go full range of motion, up and down. And notice I'm very much controlling my motion up and down as well. Okay, so we don't want to go up and then just let it go down, let it drop down. We want to control it down. There's a benefit to working in that negative. So as you can see, Brooke is doing the same movement standing. Janie's alternating sides. Let's do a few more here. And if you're like, oh, my biceps are already tired, go ahead and just relax. Okay, come back to it when you're ready, or if you want, you can just watch as we do the rest of our reps and then move on to the next exercise in about 3 seconds. Excellent. Okay, let's put those weights down. Starting to feel that already in my bicep. And then we're going to work our tricep. So, well, I should have told you to keep your weights if you wanted to use them. But I'm going to switch off to the lighter weights, and we're going to do tricep extensions. So the primary thing that you want to remember when working triceps is that you're moving through your elbows. So I'm going to bring my weights behind my head as I bend my elbows, and I'm going to extend my arm up. Now, Janie is going to do one arm supported on the chair, and I'll let her know when that 30 seconds is up so that she can switch sides. Brooke is doing them standing. If you're standing especially, make sure that you're engaging that core and you've got soft bend in your knees, not locking out your knees and you're not hyperextending your back. If this is getting really, really tiring for you, you can always put one weight down and just use a single weight. All right, you're halfway there. Continue with that motion. You're doing great. Other option is, of course, if your muscles are really tired, you can put the weights down and just do the range of motion. Absolutely okay doing that. We've got about 10 seconds, so slow down the motion. Feel where you want to, the muscles right here. So you want to be feeling the back of that arm. All right, so now we're going to move into our shoulder work. So with the lighter weights, I prefer to start lighter, especially with shoulder, okay? We're going to go into an Arnold press. So I want you to hold the weights in front of your shoulders like this, palms facing back. And then we're going to press up as we rotate the palms forward and then bring it back down. I like this option better. It's a little bit nicer on the shoulders. Okay, a lot of times you'll see, where the palms are facing forward the whole time. That tends to get a little strenuous on the shoulders. So we can go both arms. We can do single arms, one at a time, just like Janie. You can even bring one foot forward if you're standing. That's going to give you a little bit wider base and a little bit more stability. Last one. Excellent. Okay, so now we're going to go into our back work. So if you're sitting in a chair, okay, you can grab either one of the weights that you like. We're going to hinge forward. We're going to start with one side at a time. So I'm leaning forward slightly. I'll turn so you can see this. And I'm pinching my shoulder blade in towards the middle of the body. Brooke is going into a full hinged position. She's doing both arms at the same time. And Janie is being supported by the chair. Doing great. You should be feeling this in your back now. All right, we're about halfway, so I'm going to switch sides, and Janie's going to switch sides as well. Brooke's going to continue on. If you get tired, feel free to just stand up. This is a lot on that low back, so anytime you need to rest, listen to your body and do that. Last one on this side for those doing one side. All right, excellent. Let's put the weights down. We're going to go into push-ups. Okay, so we're working the front of the body. And since I can't do push-ups from a chair, okay, I'm going to be using my ball here. You can use anything. You can use a pillow or a towel, whatever you need to do. Janie is going to be demonstrating on the wall, and Brooke is on the floor on her knees. And what we're going to do is we're going to try to go ahead and show them a couple, ladies. And what I want you to do is think about your chest muscles, pecs. So as I squeeze the ball, my shoulders are down, and I'm going to try to tighten up all the muscles in the chest area. I'm going to do just a couple more. And if you're done with the push-ups and you've just had about enough, feel free to rest or go into a plank. We've just got a few more seconds here. So Brooke is demoing that plank. That's great for the shoulders as well as you take a little bit of a break. You can also do the plank on your knees. Awesome job. Okay, let's go ahead and come on up off the floor, Brooke, and we'll do a little bit just to get the heart rate up. We'll do some marching in place, or you can go into kind of a run. We'll do a little bit of agility. Yeah, so now we're going to go out, out, in a little bit faster than we did in the warm-up. Okay, now stay wide. Stay in that wide stance. Now, if you're standing, you can also do a wide march, okay, just like I'm doing here. Now, I want you to go forward, forward, back, back, forward, forward, back, back. Nicely done. And of course, you can stand in the back of the chair or the side of the chair, whatever works for you. Now, let's go ahead and go back to center. We're going to go out and in with the opposite lead. Here we go, out and in. Always want to try to be equal. Anything we do on the one side, we do on the other side. Let's keep that wide march or that wide jog. Excellent. And we're going to go forward, forward, back, back with the opposite lead. Good. I hope your heart rate's coming up. All right, let's march it in center and we'll tap out, getting ready to reach across the body. Good. Doing awesome. Keep moving, that's the only thing. So if you're not quite coordinating with us, that's okay. Just keep moving. Good. All right, now let's move right into our arms going down and arms going up. Tapping it out. You can also do the jack, but if your heart rate is too high, then just stick to that low impact version. Let's move into our seal jacks. It is an upper body day after all, so we're trying to get those shoulders to work. Good. Almost done. Last one on each side. Excellent. March it out. Okay. So now we're going to move into round 2 of our exercises. So you can stop marching now, and we're going to be using a TheraBand. So this is they come in different strength, right? Different resistances. So we've got ones that are a little bit lighter today. If you feel like you want to double up, it adds a lot. So anything that we do, if it's way too light and the TheraBand that you have is way too light, feel free to fold it in half and try it that way. The other option is, of course, you can continue to use the free weights if that's what you have available to you. But we're going to start with biceps. And actually, what I'd like to do is go into a hammer curl. So rather than holding the band like this, I'm actually going to hold it like a hammer, right? Just like this. And I'm going to place the middle of the band under my foot. I'm going to sit up nice and tall. Brooke standing nice and tall. Janie standing nice and tall. And we're going to go into bicep curls. So nice and light on the resistance. We don't want to go too heavy. Why? Because we're doing a lot of repetition. Okay, so this is more for endurance. Or you can start and do a few with heavy resistance and then go down in your weight and do lighter resistance for the rest of the minute. I'll let you know when you're halfway so you can decide what you want to do with the rest of your minute. You can even rest before I tell you to. Looks awesome. So we work the hammer curls because it gets that other head of the bicep a little bit better. All right, whoops, I missed that minute mark, Janie. Sorry about that.
I was waiting. I have to do a few now.
Okay. Ugh. Always missing the mark. You're doing great. And you can always make it up, you know? All right, let's do one more. Awesome. Okay. So now we're going to do tricep extension. So this one's going to be tricky to do both arms at the same time. So we're going to just do one arm at a time. Okay, so I've got the band behind my back. I've got it held at the small of my back, and I've got the band here like so above my shoulder. And I'm just going to extend, and I'm going to come down. Now, there's no rule that says you have to have your elbow forward or you have to have your elbow out to the side. Find what works for your anatomy, for your shoulder. Now, notice Janie is doing a modification where she's anchored one end of the band to the chair, and she's kicking back that way. It works the same muscle group. She's just stabilizing herself, and Brooke's doing the standing. Absolutely fine either way. We've got two more on this side. Excellent. Now we're going to switch sides. So I forgot to show you how to set this up if you're having difficulty So I tend to hold it with one hand, drape it behind my back, and then go in and grab it at the small of my back, like so. It's anchored at the small of my back. Notice my bottom arm does not move. Thank you, Brooke, for showing the back of that. So the bottom arm does not move. It's just an anchor, okay? It's that top arm that's working, and Janie's doubling up because she's feeling stronger, I guess. Awesome job. Almost there. Let's go and do a couple more on this side. Excellent. All right. Woo. Wow, don't worry, we'll stretch those muscles out later. Okay, so we're gonna move into shoulder. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna anchor my band, about middle of the band, underneath one foot, okay? Or you can do both, it's up to you. And I'm gonna do my raise to the front. So Brooke's gonna show you both at the same time. And Janie's gonna continue to do one hand stabilized on the chair. Doing great. Now, when you do these, be mindful of that shoulder. If that shoulder starts to creep up to the ear, then we're working muscles that we probably don't want to be engaging. We're already overworked in our traps, huge. So, want to be careful about that. The other thing is, if it bothers your shoulder to go straight forward, I want you to bring it out to the side like Janie's doing. Let's go ahead and switch to the other side. Brooke, if you need a break, you can absolutely take a break.
I got this.
It's working really hard, double time. All right, so again, shoulder is down, abs are engaged, okay? And if forward is bothering you, I want you to take it out to the side. The other option is to rotate so that the palm is facing forward instead of down towards the floor. Doing great. We're almost done. Give me two more. And awesome. Okay. So now we're going to work our back. So taking that band, we're going to do my favorite exercise, which is bow and arrow. Okay, and I'm going to double up. You don't have to, but we're going to bring one arm in front and stretch it out. We're going to keep that elbow locked. Slight bend in it, 5 degrees maybe, but other than that, we're gonna keep that arm really, really locked and stable, okay? So now we're gonna take the arm that is closest to the torso, and we're gonna pull back. And I want you to engage the muscles in the mid-back. So think about your shoulder blade coming in to meet the spine, and then almost like it wants to go over to the other shoulder blade. So just bringing that in and then coming back to neutral. And Brooke is doing the option where you're doing both at the same time. She's also, I'm assuming, because she's awesome like that, I'm assuming, is bringing both shoulder blades in towards the spine at the same time. So making sure to keep the shoulders down. Let's switch sides. That also works the shoulder. Okay, so same thing. We're going to pull back. The front arm is straight, okay? We're just using it as an anchor. And we're pinching the shoulder blade of the arm, of the side of the arm that we're working, okay? We're pinching that shoulder blade in towards the center, towards the spine. We want that movement, otherwise we're not really getting that back work. And then Janie is anchoring on the wall. Good job, Janie.
Thank you.
And let's do one more. Ooh, those shoulders, right? All right, let's shake it out. So now we're gonna work our pecs again, okay? So rather than going onto the floor, we are going to take our TheraBand, right? Wrap it around ourselves or a chair. Totally fine. Make sure you've got enough resistance on there that you're gonna feel this. And I've just got the ends of the TheraBand wrapped, balled up in my fist. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to press out and forward. So think about like you're rowing a boat. Oops. Oh, there we go. All right. So you're going to start with the 90-degree bend in the elbow more or less, and notice my elbows are a little bit lower than my shoulders. Reason being, we start to come up with the elbows and then the traps engage, and we don't want that. So we want strictly pec. And Janie's working the one side, but she's doing the same movement, right? Janie, go ahead and switch sides. You're halfway through, more or less. And my band keeps wanting to go up onto my back, so I'm just gonna let it stay there. And this is a great way to work the pecs without having to get on the floor, without having to do any. So, all right, last one. Whew. Okay, shake it out. So, we've gone through all those muscle groups again a second time, but with different equipment. Okay, let's get that heart rate up once more before we do our third set. So I want you to kick it out, and we're gonna reach for the toes again. Good, good. This time you can go a little higher, right, Brooke? Right,
Absolutely.
You're all warmed up now, right? You can kick it up. Woo-hoo! Excellent. Okay. So now we haven't done this move yet, but I want to incorporate it. So if you're standing, I want you to face forward, and you're going to step to the side like you're stepping over a big pile of laundry, and then you're going to go back to the other side. Step over a big pile of laundry. Yeah, just like that. Now in the chair, behind the chair, same movement. Okay, just swing those legs around. Engage that core. Doing awesome. Good. Now we're going to work the core a little bit more, but this time posterior. So feet are, if you're in the chair, I want you to have your feet about hip width apart to start, and we're going to duck underneath. So Brooke and Janie, you're going to imagine like you've got a clothesline that you're trying to duck underneath, and I'm just going to step to the side, and I'm going to just kind of go under. Don't let that core go. Suck it in. Even if nobody can see, it's helping to support that low back. Very nice. Let's do one more on each side. It's just a little bit of range of motion and core engagement to break up the workout a little bit. Give the arms a little bit of a rest. Okay, let's come back to center, and we'll do our last round of upper body. So last piece of equipment that we've got are these resistance bands, but they're more of a tube than a flat, a wide flat surface. And they've got these great handles. Again, if you don't have these at home, you can always go back to the TheraBand or your free weights or whatever you're using in place of free weights. So we're going to go into our bicep curls again, last round. And you can place the band under one foot or both. And we're just going to go a little shorter set this time. For Janie, I always leave her hanging with that first round. So sitting up nice and tall or standing up nice and tall. This is a lot of resistance, even, especially after we've already done 2 rounds. So I'm just going to put it under one foot, and that's going to lighten my load a little bit. Good. Excellent. Okay, so now we're going to do triceps. So this one's a little tricky to get into position, but I want you to think about this, okay? I'm going to place the band across my chest like I am the driver in a car. And this is my seatbelt going across over my left shoulder and down to my right hip, okay? So I'm going to anchor it here at my pec, right up here. And then I'm going to bring my hand to my hip, like so. I'm going to keep my elbow in that position, and I'm going to kick it back. So notice my upper arm does not move. I'm moving through my elbow, and it's my lower arm, my forearm that is moving. So Brooke is doing the overhead position. So if you want to try that, that's totally fine. You can also do the overhead from seated. And Janie's doing the underhand. So we've got all these different ways, but notice none of our elbows are moving from that spot, okay? We're just bending and then extending that arm. Let's do one more on this side and then we'll switch. It takes a little bit of time to get into position. So again, if you're seated, and I was the driver, right? The seatbelt was going across like I was in the driver's seat in a car. Now I'm gonna be the passenger. So now right shoulder to left hip, okay? I'm gonna anchor at the right pec. I'm gonna bring my hand down to my left hip, and then I'm gonna extend the arm. Nice work. Again, be mindful that upper arm should not move very much, if at all. Moving through the elbow, extending that arm. You're doing an awesome job. I'm sure you're trying your best at home. Just do as many as you can. Lighten up on that resistance band if you need a little less resistance, or choke up on it if you need a little. Let's go one more. Awesome job. Okay. So now we're back to shoulders. So I'm going to show you, and we're all going to do this unilaterally, meaning we're going to do one side and then the other. So I want you to take that resistance band somewhere in front of you, like in front of your bottom of your rib, right? Or you can even bring it here and just hold it to your stomach. And we're going to take the band, holding it at the handle end, and we're going to just press up. Now that's a lot of resistance for me, so I'm going to give myself a little bit of slack here, and I'm going to press up. And this is a functional move. I like this because it's just like you're putting something on a shelf, okay? Or stowing your suitcase in an overhead compartment or something like that. So it's a very practical move. If your body doesn't like that, maybe you can go more forward, okay? So it changes the muscle group a little bit. Or you can even do this without a band, right? Just reaching up, just like that. Excellent. Let's do one more on this side. Oh, that was good. Okay, switching sides. So again, we're holding the handle part, and then the tubing is in front. We're anchoring it in front of our body. We're going to press up, just like we're putting something on that top shelf. And again, if your shoulder is bothering you or it's getting just really fatigued, ease up on that resistance. Nice work. Keep the shoulders down, away from the ears. Let's do two more. And again, if your arm is really tired, you can do this without the resistance band. Repetitive motion for endurance training for that shoulder. All right, good. Okay, we're gonna move into our back. So we've got the tube, and we're gonna wrap it around our hand a couple times, wrap it around the hand once or twice on the other side. So you're a little bit wider than hip width, okay? Just a little bit wider than hip width. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring the band in front of I like to start in front of my forehead or my nose, okay? And then I'm gonna pull to my chest, pinching my shoulder blades together. And I like to pause here, okay? And then release. So it's like a lat pull down machine if you've ever used those. Okay? We start with the arms straight, and then we end with the elbows bent. And Brooke is going to show you the side view there. So she starts with her arms straight in front, just like Janie and I are doing, and then elbows together and back, just like so, like you're making the letter W, okay? If this becomes too much for you, go ahead and put the band down. You can do this absolutely without a band, still engaging those same muscles. Janie's going to demonstrate one side and the other. We've got about 20 seconds to go. I know you might be feeling this tomorrow. Got about 13 seconds to go. Doing great. Ooh, even those shoulders get a workout with this one. Okay, nice work. We are going to do one more round for the pecs. Okay. So again, if you've got that tube and you can wrap it around your chair or your back, you can go back to push-ups if you like that one, but we're all using the same muscle group here. So I'm going to wrap it around my body and I'm going to press forward and down. Now, if you like, you can open up like so. So this is a pec fly. So we're here. It's kind of like a bear hug. We're keeping the elbows soft. Great. And Brooke is going to demonstrate more push-ups. Woo-hoo.
Woo!
Yeah. All right, let's just do a couple more. Awesome. Okay, let's shake it out. Woo. How we doing? Pretty good?
Good. We're good.
Okay. So we're not going to bring the heart rate up. Okay, we've already brought it down. So now we're going to do a nice long stretch. So I want you to find a nice comfortable stance for your feet, whether you're standing or seated. Let's keep that shoulder down as we bring the arm across the body. Doesn't matter which side you start on, okay? But make sure that whichever arm you're bringing across, that shoulder is going to stay down, okay? See a lot of this. They're like, Danielle, I don't feel this stretch. Well, reset, bring the arm out, and just try it again. And maybe you don't have the range of motion right now, and you go to here, and you already feel the stretch in the posterior capsule of the shoulder. That's totally fine. Okay, just work on it a little at a time. We'll hold here. Taking some deep breaths. And as you exhale, get into the habit of when you exhale, just find a muscle that you might be tensing and just let it go. Release the tension. All right, let's switch sides. Same thing. Make sure that the shoulders are down and back before you take the arm across, and keep the shoulder down and back. Don't let that shoulder come with you. The goal is to find that stretch through here, okay? The back of the shoulder. Take a few deep breaths, just like before. As deep as you can. Good, release. Now let's take it to tricep stretch. So what I like to do is I start with one arm in front, palm up, and then I bring my fingertips to my shoulders, and I lift my elbow up towards the ceiling. And then if I can, I have my other hand to kind of guide that elbow, continue to guide it up and back. You don't have to do this. In fact, you can even brace yourself up against a wall, just like Miss Janie over there. Just use the wall to kind of pin that in place, pin that arm in place so that you get that stretch to the back, right here, to the back of the arm. And release that stretch. Good. Let's go to the other side. So again, we start with the arm in front, palm facing up, fingers to shoulder, and then let's slide it back so that hand goes between the shoulder blades as much as possible. I hope it feels nice. I hope there's not too much pain. If there is, go ahead and ease up on it. Go a little smaller in your stretch. Good, and release. Now we'll stretch out our biceps a little bit. So palms facing up. Let's bring the arms back. And see if you can imagine like you're trying to touch your thumbs together behind you. So this is also going to stretch out the pecs, which is a nice bonus. So we'll release now and we'll flip the hands. So the palms are now going to face down towards the floor. And imagine like you're trying to touch your pinkies together behind you. Maybe some of you can. I can't, but I'm going to pretend like I can. And I'm going to just keep going. My arms are going to keep going in towards each other. And Janie's doing the one hand on the chair. One side of the table. We're about halfway through, so if you need to just take a break, relax, and then go into that position again, that's totally fine. Good, so now let's stretch out our back. So interlacing the fingers with the palms facing in towards you, I want you to drop your chin to chest and round forward. You're gently separating the shoulder blades, okay? The shoulders are not going to be up towards the ears, right? We're dropping them, relaxing them down. And then if you like, you can actually rotate so that the palms are facing forward, but the fingers are still interlaced. Breathing deeply into your back. And go ahead and release that stretch. Now we'll go into our pec stretch. So if you can, grab onto your hands behind your back, and let's just pull the shoulders down and back. I said shoulders, but really what we're stretching is here, the anterior portion of the front of the torso. Okay. Also, the other option is to grab onto the back of your chair. So I'm going to turn myself a little bit so you can see. I'm grabbing onto the back of the chair, and I'm leaning forward slightly. Janie is using the wall to anchor that arm, so she's feeling that stretch in the pec as well. We're about halfway there. Deep breaths into your chest. And go ahead and release. Okay, we're almost done. We're going to stretch out our wrists a little bit. So I want you to take your arm in front of you, one arm in front of you, and then go ahead and tilt so that your fingers are pointing down and your palm is away from you. And we're just going to use our other arm, our other hand, to just gently pull the fingers back. Again, we don't want pain. We just want to feel that stretch to the front of the forearm. Just hold it here for a few seconds. And then let's do the same thing on the other hand. So palms up, palm is up. Then the fingertips are going to tip down towards the floor. You can hold with the other hand, or you can even go against the wall for this one. Just like Janie. Good, release. Now we're going to go back to the first hand. Palms face down, and I want you to drop your fingers down towards the floor. And we'll just gently pull those fingers in towards the torso. So now you should be feeling it in the back of the forearm. Shoulders are down. And let's release. Let's do the other side. Just gently let that one go. Sometimes that can be a little tight. Okay, so palms down, fingers down, and then just gently pull in towards you. And also the other option is you can extend the arm. So if you start with a bent elbow and you notice, okay, I'm not really feeling a stretch, then maybe straighten out that arm as you go, and maybe you'll feel that stretch a little bit. How's that for you, ladies?
Feels good.
Good. I'm glad. Good. Release. Shake it out. Just wiggle those fingers. And let's do 3 breaths to end today. So feet width apart. Deep breath in as we bring the arms up. And let's bend over to one side. Now, if you can't quite get those arms straight, I want you to grab onto your elbows or your forearms. I'm going to keep my arms straight. Janie is going to demonstrate with grabbing onto the elbows. Come back to center, deep breath in. And exhale, then over to the other side. And inhale back to center. And let's exhale, bring those hands down to heart center. This concludes our upper body with equipment workout today. I hope that you felt like you got a good workout. Do this 2 or 3 times a week if you can. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.